All right. Hello again, adventurers, and welcome to another exciting episode of Daily December 2023. This is day 26. And yes, even though it is the day after Christmas, and that should be a very easy thing for my brain to remember, I still have to look at the date because I don't remember dates. So today, I have, for whatever reason, been struck by these two kind of points of genius. And by points of genius, I mean I've been inspired to create something new, and it's actually fleshed out to the point where I could actually start working on it. And what I mean by that is I have a lot of ideas that are mostly nonsense and worthless. Like, I've been wanting to design my own RPG system for a while. And I have ideas that I think would be cool in a tabletop RPG. None of them will work. Because they're just that. They're just ideas. They're like, what if you use dice pools for everything? That would be super fun. Okay, turn that into an RPG. Damn it. And that's as far as it goes. I'd have an idea of a new series I want to start. It's like, well, what if I did a series where, like, the one that I've already mentioned here that I wanted to try and do for Daily December, and it's not looking like it's going to happen because everybody is so busy right now. At least everyone I know. But that idea of, well, what if, like, I just brought somebody on a call and we built characters and talked about shit. That's a cool idea. How are you going to do it? No fucking clue. So I am plagued by cool idea, but absolutely no way to turn it into something that is actually useful. It's just a cool idea. And for whatever reason, I have had two ideas over the past like 3 or 4 days that just became concrete enough in my head that I started actually building them. And one of them is technically complete. For those of you that haven't figured this out yet, and if you haven't, you may want to reevaluate your critical thinking skills. I don't script any of my content, and I don't edit any of my content. Everything I do is off the cuff, and that's intentional. My channel would be a lot bigger if I would just script things and I would edit out the ums and ahs and the things like that, make it look more professional. I could show massive growth, and I might even become one of those D&D YouTubers that I complain about all the time. But with my issues with anxiety and depression and the fact that my brain is constantly attacking me, I simply could not handle that kind of a workload. And even doing something as simple as doing my Daily December stuff, like, it takes a lot out of me. And there have been days where literally the only thing I have done in the entire day has been my Daily December video, and then I go back to bed because I'm so exhausted from just my body rebelling against me and my brain rebelling against me. And yeah. So, so I don't script anything. I don't edit anything. I've been paying for Adobe Premiere Pro for like 7 years. And it used to be that the only thing I used it for was to make thumbnails and overlays for my D&D games. And that was it. I never used it for anything else. But way back in the day, I actually did used to do some edited content, and I had an entire series I used to do for a collab channel called the All for Geek Alliance that was entirely edited, and I was very proud about it. And then I used to do this thing called Friday Feature Focus, where I would script and edit the things. And then I had another series called Lore Explore that was scripted and edited. And I used to put a lot of effort and work into it. And then I had a mental breakdown, got locked in a psych ward, and they tried to kill me there. Not intentionally, but the result was the result. I almost died. And And it was directly because they put me on medications that I never should have been on after I told them these meds do bad things to me, and they completely ignored me. So whether or not that would get up to malpractice is for some lawyer that I'm never going to talk to. But it was definitely unethical. And it was definitely their fault. So I don't script anything. However, I think yesterday I might have done it. I wrote a script for what I wanted it to be was a short. And when I finished the script, it looks like it's probably going to be slightly too long to be a short. Because shorts get cut off at, I think, a minute. And this one's looking like it might be closer to like 1.5 minutes or 2.5 minutes. So still short form. By intention, like it's basically a bunch of kind of jokes and things. And I'm not going to go into too much more because I'm planning on actually creating it. But I like the entire script is done. And I'm happy with where it's at. I've gone through and I've proofread it a few times just to make sure that everything works. I've sent it off to a few people to see if anyone's interested in recording it with me. And I might do an edited video. And if it goes well, maybe that'll become a series. Because creating, here's a fun fact for those of you that don't know. I used to make, Friday Feature Focus. You can find them on this channel. They're not good. But a Friday Feature Focus would be roughly, it'd be less than 10 minutes. If I remember correctly, the goal was around 7-ish minutes. Technically, way back then, the goal was under 4 minutes. But I could never do that with any of my videos. Even when I script, I ramble. But I think I tried to get them either just under 10 minutes or just over 10 minutes. I can't remember. But in order to... the actual raw footage for creating just a 10-minute video, minimum would be about 30 minutes. And depending on how hard it was for me to get the lines out, and if I had to do anything kind of special when I was recording it, it could be up to 45 or 50 minutes for a sub 10-minute video. Now, editing that would take a minimum of 2 to 3 hours. And I am not a good editor. And I am not a very skilled editor. So I wasn't doing really, really fancy things. For the most part, I would do a lot of jump cuts because that was the style at the time. And every so often, not for Friday Feature Focus, but for Lore Explorer, which exists on YouTube as well, but it's on the All for Geek Alliance. So if you look here for Lore Explorer, it doesn't exist. If you go over to the All for Geek Alliance, I think I have 3 or 4 episodes of Lore Explorer. And that one was actually good. I created my own intro for it. I was really proud of it. But yeah, I might make, images appear on the screen. But it was never anything really fancy. Because I've never learned Premiere Pro that well. I learned the basics. In my early stuff, I edited using a free video editor that sucked. So... yeah, I've done a lot better since then, but I don't do scripting and editing because it adds so much to the process. So yeah, for a 5-minute video, not even a good 5-minute video, a basic, something the quality that you might see on TikTok, for me, would take... probably if you count scripting in, which could, especially if it was something I had to do research on, scripting itself could take anywhere from, a few hours minimum, depending on how much research I had to do. So let's go 2 hours for scripting. Let's go half an hour for shooting. And let's go minimum of 3 hours to edit and finalize and that. And then another half an hour for processing. Because I had a really shit computer at that point. It would take forever to process the videos. If my math is correct, that's 6 hours to be able to put out a single 5 to 10 minute video. That is a part-time full day of work. That is almost a full-time full day of work for 5 minutes. it's the people that can pull that stuff off. I have the utmost respect for them, because first of all, it probably doesn't take them anywhere near as long as it used to take me, because they've learned how to do it better. But it's still something like your shooting schedule. You are always going to do minimum of triple the amount of time of footage that you're going to have on screen. You're always going to have that. And editing it, to edit through something, you have to watch the original a minimum of 1.5 times. And that's if you already had the editing kind of pre-planned out in your head while you were shooting it. If you just shot it and then decided to edit it later, or you had time between shooting it and editing it, or if you have someone that wasn't involved in the shooting doing the editing for you, they have to watch the thing. Generally, they have to watch the whole thing at least once. Sometimes it'll be 2 or 3 times. So just that means that, that triple the amount of time that's already in the editing. And then if you have a script for them to follow, that can save some time. If they don't have a script and they just have to kind of edit around your stuff, which is what I did. Despite the fact that I had a script, when I was editing, I knew the script in my head and I knew what I wanted to do. And so I would just cut bits and pieces out. Like it's a long, involved process. It's one of the reasons why editors are expensive. It's because they're worth it. But when writing the script, I already kind of had the idea in my head of how I'd want to edit everything, and it would be relatively simplistic, something that I could handle. And so, yeah, like I said, I'm trying to figure out if I want to do the entire thing myself, or if I can convince some people to do it with me. To make things just easier on me, and then just edit everything together. I don't know. But that's the thing that I'd like to have as one of my daily December videos. I have no idea if that's going to happen because we have a week left. But, yeah, it's interesting. And then the other thing that literally just happened today, and again, I don't want to go into too much detail because it may turn into nothing, and then I just feel really stupid, but I had an idea about something involving something that I'm not going to talk about, and instead of it just being an idea, it started getting really fleshed out to a point where I couldn't finish planning it in my head. It had gotten complex enough that I need to start writing things down. And generally by the time, like, for example, The Blood Knight started off as just an idea. What if we had a class in D&D 5th edition that generated resources through attacks? Like, that was kind of the basis of it. And it stayed that idea for like a year. Or I just kept, or maybe it was only like 3 or 4 months. Or I just kept kind of sitting and going through it and going, that would be... actually, that would be kind of cool. I wonder if we could do this. And it never got beyond the idea phase because it never got kind of concrete enough that I needed to write it down. And then one day I just went, wait a minute, what if we did this? And it got concrete enough and complex enough that I had to actually start writing stuff down. And that's where the Blood Knight came from. Now, it took me well over a year between first writing it and then actually having a complete thing that I could send out for play testing. But that's kind of how my brain works. And this latest idea has legs. And like it makes sense. And I can see how it's kind of coming together. And I've gotten to the point where either I need to give up on it or I need to start writing things down. And I think I'm going to start writing things down and see where it goes. It may never turn into anything. It may take me 6 years to turn it from idea into completed project. But because of just how broken my brain is from like the meds and everything else that's going on, it is extremely rare for me to be able to get something from the idea point to the writing down point. Because, again, due to the benzos and everything, I don't have a short-term memory anymore. Like, I can't remember yesterday a lot of the time. And it's actually a really big problem when I'm running RPGs and stuff like that, because I won't remember the things that happened in the last session and things like that. And that's one of the reasons why I do recaps at the beginning and stuff like that, is because that's me kind of talking my way through remembering how everything goes. And so, yeah, the fact that there are two different things now that have gone from, hey, that's a cool idea, to something physical, or one thing that's become something physical and another thing that's at the point that it needs to become physical, is a really big deal for me. And most people, this would not be a really big deal. It's just for me personally, because of how broken I am, this doesn't happen often. Like, this is the first time I have had anything that I could write down since the Blood Knight. And before that, oh man, probably since, I don't know. Oh, I guess my Fabula Ultima campaign would also be something, but that was something I've been planning for 6 months. Or maybe not, because I got Fabula Ultima in September. So that'd be something I've been planning for 2 or 3 months. Yeah. But yeah, basically Fabula Ultima, the Blood Knights, and that was really the only things that I did, I think, this entire year. And Campaign 2 for Realms. So yeah, in a year, I have done 3 things. And that's it. And that was a really, really good year for me. So, anyway, just wanted to talk about that. We will see if anything comes from it. Like I said, the biggest issue I have right now is either I have to try and work around people's schedules to find a time to film this damn thing, or I have to film all the parts myself and find a way to differentiate them enough that it doesn't look like complete dog shit. And old me could do that in a heartbeat. Current me, I'm not sure if I can. And that's one of the reasons why I'm reaching out to other people. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, that's all for me today. I will see you guys tomorrow. All right? Bye-bye.